Okay, let's have another 15-minute live commentary game. Quanta 2098. Okay, I think a Winawer. To play knight f3 to that. Let him take on c3. I could do, and cd, bishop d3, little gambit. Hopefully it's not a total disaster. I'll try and get the position opened up. If he wants to win a couple of pawns, I'll let him. So cd, I'll play bishop e3, bishop d3, queen c3, I'll play bishop d2, and overprotect e5. Hopefully that should be good fun. Just thinking a lot here. I don't mind ignoring the threat here. Positional sacrifice. Leading developments. It's king still in the centre. Okay. He's going to go for bishop a6 anyway. So say bishop a6, I castle. I'll castle here, in fact. Right, so I've got this diagonal to work on. Knight g5, queen h5, is that strong? Just going for the f7. Possibly. Knight d4, I'm not sure what that does. Bishop a6 is going to arrive on the scene. As far as this bishop is concerned, I'm not sure. So I think knight g5 with the king still in the centre. Just to get crude moves like queen h5 in. Actually, with the bishop on e6, then knight e6 would be a threat after queen h5, knight e6. So h6, queen h5. Knight e7, queen h5. So he's sort of stuck his queen on a5 and he's blocked it in from retreating back with b6. Bishop a6 is preparing to weaken e6 in effect. So I'm sort of optimistic here, even though I've sacked a couple of pawns. Alekhine used to do that in a lot of his games, sack a pawn or two in the opening just to get the dynamism going. I quite like this. Leading development. Kingston in the centre. Prospect of a crude but simple move, queen h5. Overprotection of e5 possible. a4, bishop a3 possible. Okay. So here I'm very glad I didn't listen to that threat, queen a5 defending meekly. I mean, why should I? He hasn't developed pieces anyway. He's playing actively. I guess he could gobble me up in theory from this position with the two pawns, but I can't see how with his king stuck in the centre. It's 2 moves away from castling queenside, at least 2 moves, 1, 2, then castle queenside. Even then, f7 will be a problem. Okay. Well, got him thinking. Alright, so I should start calculating here as well. Bishop a6, queen h5. If it takes, there's queen f7, king d8, knight e6 is mating. Isn't that king c8, queen c7 mate? So let's go for that again. Bishop a6, queen h5. What about g6? Queen f3 on f7. It's got problems here. This f7 is a real problem. So it's better to force g6 first for queen f3, because queen f3 immediately there's f6. Whilst with pawn on g6, f6, I can play e takes f. Okay, so bishop a6 looks out of the question. What about knight d7? So we'll start looking at that. Knight d7 hits e5 actually, so queen h5 is knight e5. Knight d7. Whoa. Okay. Queen h5 g6. EF knight f6. But EF looks logical to open things up. It's almost knight h7, knight h7, queen h5. I think so. Unless there's anything else about this e6, then the bishop b5, no a4. I think I want to open up the position. Do I? I hope this is the best thing to do. So knight takes, queen h5. What about rook e1? Bishop g6 doesn't work. Queen f3, I don't think so. He's going to castle king side if I don't do knight h7. I think might be the time. Knight h7, knight takes queen h5. King moves bishop h7. Okay. Otherwise, if he takes the other way with the rook, I think I'd take queen h5, take on h7. I just want to stop him casting king side. So the queen's still embarrassingly stuck on a5, but can it get it back in the game? d4, and there's bishop g6 now. But he would be protecting h5 with d4. Okay. Let's say e5, for sake of argument. e5, queen, bishop g6, king moves. Then what? Knight takes f6, g takes. I think with the king in the centre, it should be pleasant. Once I get bishop g6 in, taking on f6, that would weaken d5 in that situation. What about bishop g5 as well as a threat? Bishop g5, e5. There's no brilliancy like queen h5, is there? Because bishop g6, it's always got king d7, king d8, but it's worth making a note of tactics anyway. Forcing moves. Bishop h6 is another crazy move. Takes, knight takes. I don't think it does anything. Rook h7, I'm blocking queen from h5. So really the logical moves, I think, to follow up here, probably bishop g5, bishop g6 clearly, to stop the king from castling. So the rook's not being connected, unless this h5, I don't want this h5 to rebound on me. On h2, something like d4 could get the queen involved. So it's worth probably looking at d4 again, bishop g6, king moves. Okay, I'm holding h5 with bishop g6 anyway. Now in that position, right, say king d8, bishop g5, that would be good there. Getting a time advantage. Sometimes during a long game I feel a little bit bored. Maybe it's the too much blitz online. I start thinking the opponent's time divided by the number of moves they have to make sort of cheer me up. Like, how long do I have to wait? It's cure for impatience. So say they've taken 20 minutes on the move, I can imagine they only got a few moves like that they can do. So here, bishop h7. Alright, I'm going into a self pin. d4, there might be bishop g5 check. Going into self pin, hoping this is not terrible. Should be able to get out with it with a check with the queen. Actually taking on g7 might be tasty. Just going for that rook, believe it or not. So d4 hits my queen. Let's say d4, bishop g5, check. Where would the king go? Bishop g5 check here, king c7. I don't want to drive the king over there. I think I want to win g7 here to attack the rook. Okay, I am driving the king, but queen g7, I'm attacking the rook. Getting the rook off the h file. This could be a fun game, I'm hoping. So bishop f4 is probably worth punt. Actually, that will protect h2 as well. So bishop f4, it will tie down the knight actually. Okay, even though the king goes there, tying down the knight to protect d7. This is anything stronger. It's queen e5 after that. Queen e5. Oh. Have I messed up? I should have played bishop f4 earlier. I've messed up. He's got e5 now. I could try and win the pawn and go back to g7. Or just play e5. I don't know. I think I've messed up. If I go back to g7, I've freed his game. Mind you, I'm on c3. If I go back to g7, you can play d4 for queen h5. Actually, I'm hitting d7 though, usefully. So he's not that free to do stuff at the moment, like d4, queen h5. So what about rook e1 to e7? The liberation came at some price. Bishop f5, rook e1. I think rook e1. Well, there's queen h4. No, queen d7. I want to get this rook. Move in. Potentially there's bishop f5. Okay, so alright. So there's a threat potentially of queen h4. Queen seems useful on g7. Right, if I play rook e7 here, just trying to tie him down. Although my back row is getting a little bit weak. Maybe h4 and try and queen this pawn. And he just takes in, there's rook d7. If I can get in h4, h5, then bishop g6, I'd neutralise the h file, but then there'd be rook g8. And so I play bishop f5. Okay. He's going to be tied down to a7 after that move. So what about just something like h3? Or rook a1? I think h3 or h4. h4 might be possible. Queen h4, rook d7. I mean, he's picking up h7. If I play that with the idea that I've got rook e8 though after. So rook ae1 then. Queen h4, rook d7. I'll go for that, because if he takes on h7 there's rook e8 there. I've got back row weakness, that's not working. So there's queen h4 coming up, but I'm protecting the bishop at the moment, so I can play that. Maybe I can just play g3 and h4. So I'll do this. Try and keep possession of the e file. So something, what would be ideal would be h4. Okay, that gives my king air for the back row issues to be resolved. Okay, he's tied down to a7 now. There'll be queen c7 mate after taking on a7. So if there's queen c6 here as well. Any other tactical moves? I think it's time for h3. Let's say d3. Might be bishop e4 at some point, or rook e6. h4 is still possible. I can play h4, try and use this pass pawn. Because rook a7, queen c7. I'm protecting c2 at the moment. So he's tied down to a7 now. Okay, he's munched there. Carnivorous queen. Can I just get this pawn going? So h6, Once he plays d4, there might be bishop e4. Does that actually do anything? I don't think it does anything. Is it worth getting the pawn to h6, or is it worth playing rook e6? Say check, king h2. Oh dear. It's looking a bit dangerous. Okay. Can I try and deflect his queen away from a7? Or treble on 7th? I think getting the pawn to h6 should time down a little bit more, so I'm going to play this. I can take with bishop takes d3. I don't want to give him a huge pass pawn, but he's going to attack my queen. Whoops. It's not too hot. Bishop e4. I've fluffed it. Unless h7 is good now. It looks fluffed. There'll be rook g8 after queen. Oh dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear. Why did I do that? Unless the king can go to f1, so queen f6. Bishop g2 though. The rook g7. The rook g2. King f1. Okay, what's better than queen f6? Queen f6 is good for h7. So if I can get away with king f1, well, I'll go for this. And now rook g2. There's h7. I think that's better than losing the queen there. But not ideal to lose g2 here. So h7, I'll be walking into a discovered check. Would that be mating me? It's getting a bit hair raising. But I'm on c6. After rook g2, king f1, that looks pleasant actually. There's rook g7 here. I want to shield my king for an h7. I'm walking towards another cheapo now. In fact, there's queen c6, bishop e4 almost. Okay, he's on f2 now, another cheapo mode. Okay. Queen h4. Am I holding on for queen h4? Or is there better? I think queen h4. Play h7 one day. Queen h4. There might be rook d3, cd. What about h7 after that? I'll go there. So h7. This pawn is now ready to rumble. I think. Queen g3. Maybe threaten queen c7. Is there stronger? Queen g3. Threatens queen c7. There's queen e7. What about just queen e7 here? Threatens the queen, threatens mate. Pretty quick move. If it takes, it takes. Has to protect a7. Sorry about starting wrong thing. How does he defend against h7 and rook g8 there? Maybe this is the chance just for queen e7. It's a forcing move, isn't it? There's no discovered check or anything. Takes, takes, has to protect a7, then I play h7. I think the threats are mounting. Two rooks on the 7th rank, h7, pawn on the 7th. Okay, he's got rook d3, he's got rook d3, cd. I might have to come back to rook e1. It's not totally winning for him there. Or check, rook a1. I still think that's okay, but I want to get this pass pawn on the h7 pretty soon. Is there anything better than that? Doesn't matter. It's done. So the rook d3 takes, well, you check first, then take c2 rook a1. This pawn's a bit dangerous. Bishop a6 if a5. All that front check. King b8. It will get out of the way for rook d3s. Also h7 would be useful. In fact, can I just ignore rook d3? Can I play h7 just for rook g8? I don't think so. I think I'd just take on a7, take on d3, c2 rook a1. Okay. So that forcing move, has it done me damage or is it good? Two rooks on the 7th, h7. I'm allowing rook d3's here. What else to consider here? Okay, I think I take. That makes sure I can play rook a1. Otherwise he plays a5, cutting my rook off. I take king b8, c takes. Hoping that position's good. Let's say rook e8. Maybe king f1 there. Bishop g2, king takes. c2, rook a1. Okay, I think rook a7. Let's work this out again. King b8, c takes. So rook, sorry, c2 rook a1. I think I'm gonna go for that. Hoping this is not a miscalculation. Okay, what's he threatening? If I go for this, if I play h7, am I tying this rook down? So I'm going to play rook takes c2 and rook g8 after. I'm going to tie that rook down. Both getting tied down to the passed pawns. So rook c1, bishop b3, I can play it immediately. Takes and rook g8. Got to play rook g8 after rook c2. I think that's winning the c2 pawn. Oh, well I can take and then queen. This pawn's to the rescue finally. He's resigned. I'm 2090, my peak rating on the 15-minute auto pairing. That was an exciting game, I thought. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. I think I played a terrible move here. I should have played bishop f4 when I had the chance. Keep the bishop on the strong diagonal. So I let him play knight c6 and sack a pawn with active play. Big problem. Gave him too much counterplay. c3 is also a dangerous asset here. But this pawn is a dangerous asset for white. So he's playing on his asset. I think that was best not to play a queen sack, just to invite rook g2. Okay, shielding the g file, shielding f2. Now a forcing move. Get the queens off. Getting the queens off. Well, the queen's actually not on f2 now. Weakness of the last move. He's giving me a move there. Play queen e7. Coming back. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks so much.